The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Turn 3 Racing Network, as tonight we are here at the Daytona 2007 track, the bumpy, bad, fast Daytona track that is so fun to drive. And we are here for the OP Racing Super Speedway League as they are trying to lay down a qualifying time. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. My name is KR Stolfus, and in the booth with me is none other than Danny Valenzuela. Man, I messed that up already. Ooh. All right, Danny, I'll tell you what, thank you for being here tonight as we are watching these guys out in qualifying. And we're here for some great action all night long. 100 laps at Daytona, and these cars are going to be working the track, working around this draft pack that is the A car. And Danny, so far we've been watching practice. What are you thinking so far?
I think these drivers got their hands full. We know this track's bumpy, and that puts a lot more back in the driver's hand than we normally see at a super speedway. You know, a lot of times it's just kind of that mash the pedal and turn every now and then. But with the bumps here, that car's not going to be super stable through the corners. So those guys are going to be working all the way around those great big corners.
It is a long time through the corners here, and we're watching Mark Mann in the 04 right now as he is trying to run the high side, make this track as big as possible, burn off some fuel, get the tires warm. Now he's dropping down to the yellow line to make it as short as possible and get that quick line around this Daytona Super Speedway. And already drivers starting to turn in some lap times. Eric Carline in the 22. Right now he is holding on to the top spot, but he is still running that upper line. So we're going to see how they turn their lap times on their second lap. Their second lap is going to be their faster lap. They'll be up to full speed, and we'll be hugging that inside line. And Danny, do you got a lot of experience running these super speedway series?
You know, super speedways, I enjoy them. They always kind of turn into a little chaos. So I spend time on the track. I don't necessarily spend a lot of time in the draft because crashes happen and you end up dropped off somewhere.
Well, that's never good. Crashing is never fun in a super speedway series. The pecking order is starting to be developed. The FSR driver, Derek Conley, right now he is sitting in third place. As we look at our qualifying order for the moment, Mark Mann in the 04 is on top of the speed charts with Rick Seabrans in the 4 machine tied. Those guys turned an equal lap time, 48.531 for each of them, but Mark Mann credited with the pole for the moment, and Derek Conley in third, pulling down to pit lane. Looking for a few other drivers here out on track. Doug Rice in the 35 machine. Right now he is sitting in 20th, but it looks like he is hugging that yellow line, trying to turn his quick lap as he works his way through the corner down this backstretch. Washes up to the outside wall. Got a good run down the straightaway here. And with just about 5 minutes and 55 seconds left of qualifying, Doug Rice trying to put this thing on pole. Last week's race winner, Rod Flagg, in the 23, a rookie. Out on track now at 23 machine, won the race last week, qualified on pole last week, did all he needed to do and found a way to win it. And Danny, you missed last week and it was a wild one, but glad to have you back here again this week.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. The first week that I was here, the racing was awesome, so I'm definitely looking forward to it here and seeing what these guys are able to do with this bumpy track.
Well, they're going to have a lot of fun at this bumpy track. Now we're watching the 62 of Les Levy. Les, no stranger to very big announcements around the cars he will be running. But this week he is running the Shake and Bake 62 machine. He says this is the only car you can run here at this Daytona 07 track, as it will shake and bake you all night long. But the 62 right now in 23rd. I'm going to see how he rolls around here as he is hugging that inside line. This should be his fast lap. Danny, watching these cars bounce around, man, it makes me think these drivers got their work cut out for them tonight.
I'd be nervous if I was one of them. You know, not able to run quite as close door to door with someone as you can at, you know, Talladega, the smoother version of Daytona. So, you know, there's a lot of track to be used, but it's all going to be dependent on where that guy next to you is running, how much of the track you're actually able to use, because if he's bouncing up and down, you're not going to want to be anywhere near that.
These drivers do give a lot of respect through the corners as they are bumping through these corners. And right now we're watching Kenneth McCullough Jr. in the 89 as he is working his way onto the front stretch. Gonna start his fast lap here. And guys, while we wrap up qualifying, we are gonna step away for the Star Spangled Banner. Please join us as we honor our nation's anthem.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back, Turn 3 Racing Network here with the OP Racing League at Daytona International Speedway. Qualifying's just finished up. Waiting for these guys to grid, and we will get things rolling. Really excited to be here tonight with these guys. We've seen in the last couple of weeks put on some great racing, keeping things real exciting. So Daytona going to keep things rolling that direction, hopefully.
Looks like right now there are no cars out on track. We did have 24 drivers take a qualifying time. Top 20 showing up on the screen, and it's gone just like that. But our drivers, seems like several drivers wanting to maybe be a little bit patient here tonight and start from pit road. As I said, we have 24 drivers who took a qualifying time, and looks like 7 drivers electing not to qualify. So we'll see how this plays out as we're looking at the final 16 seconds of qualifying. And Danny, I have played this game. I've started at the back of the pack and I've started at the front, and I'll tell you, when your number comes up to being a crash, it don't matter where you are.
Yeah, there's no safe place out here. Plenty of times, like you say, seen that leader get turned by the guy behind him working with him, seen that guy in the back get caught up in something that wasn't even his fault. Like you say, if it's your time, you're getting caught up, and hopefully you can limp the car back and do some repairs.
Limping the car back is never fun, but it is something that does happen from time to time. And now it looks like it, as the drivers are taking to the grid. I say we go through our starting grid. Row number 1, Rod Flagg once again on pole. He won last week from the pole. Here he is trying to do it again 2 weeks in a row. Will he be our first repeat winner of the season? Gotta wait 100 laps to find that out. Les Levy in the 62 going to start on his outside. That is row number 1. Mark Mann in the 04 and Rick Seabrans in the 4 making up row number 2. And Mark Mann, as usual, this one's for you, bud. Row number 3 going to be made up of Hunter Reynolds in the 26 and the 28 of Derek Conley. Row 4 will be Kenneth McCullough Jr. and David Booth in the 77. Stolen number there. Row number 5 will be Anthony English and James Mayer in the 95. Danny?
Row 6, we're looking at the 52 machine of Sean McCarrick with Chase Berry in the 11 machine sitting in 12th. In row 7, we got Alex Green and Douglas Rice. Row 8, the 38 of Cody Levitt. And the 16th, the 7 of Josh Milam. Row 9, Daniel Harrington and David Overstreet. Row 10, Mike Schultz, Cody Ober. Sitting in row 11, we're looking at Mark Vega and Tristan Walker. Row 12 gonna be that 22 machine Eric Carline and the 39 of Jacob Sayers. Row 13's Cody Eldred and Robert Duvendak. Row 14, Chris McCullough and Aspen Belvin. Row 15, David McCullough and Scott Bellum. Row 16, we're looking at the 16 Forrest Sparks. Outside of him is going to be the 100 machine, Will Weber. That's going to make up our field here tonight. Got plenty of cars out here on track, plenty of action we'll be seeing throughout the night.
Will Weber is going to be our race control for this night. We appreciate him sacrificing his time, talents, and efforts to control these drivers as they are out here on this bumpy Daytona. And man, in practice, Danny, a lot of these drivers were saying how the car is very loose in the draft. So we might see these guys having to check up in the corners. This could be an interesting night. The drivers having to be up on the wheel and very much so in tune with their car.
Anytime we see that here at the super speedways, it gets me excited. You know, it's always fun to see these guys really working, you know, feeling what that car is doing and what it's going to let them do.
Lights are out on our Ford Mustang pace car. Rod Flagg once again on the pole. That's 2 weeks in a row. Here we go. Green flag is out, and Flagg off to an early jump. Les Levy got caught napping. There's Mark Mann in the 04 already pulling alongside. Now in front of him, will Mark Mann make a move to the outside as they work their way down into turn number 1? Now Les Levy has a good charge with some help from the poor Rick Seabrans.
Rick out there working with David Booth coming up behind him. That 3-car train might be able to put something together, get pushing up towards the front. Les Levy with Rick Seabrans there behind him, able to get out ahead, see if he stays up there in that high line and goes ahead. There he goes, drops down to the inside, quick to take that inside line, take that first position away.
Les Levy now leading, stealing that opening lap from Rod Flagg. Who's it going to be at the line? Will it be the poor Rick Seabrans? It looks like he's carrying some momentum through the tri-oval, and he does. Rick Seabrans leads the opening lap here at the 3rd annual Bumpy Road 250.
See these guys coming through the corner and start bouncing all over the place. Those cars, they're chasing them a little bit, but everybody's keeping it under wraps for now, so that's good to see.
We had 20 cars start on the grid, 10 cars electing to start from pit road. Those 10 cars that started on pit road are going to have to hope for an early caution here, as they are going to be well off the pace, but they got to join up, maybe work together, stay on the lead lap, but this lead pack is charging hard.
Looking at the way this lead pack's running, I'm not seeing an early caution. You know, these guys are running, giving each other plenty of space, working together. Those guys that start on the pit lane are definitely gonna have to hope pretty hard for something to happen.
Right now, your race leader is the 77 of David Booth, a rookie. I'm stumbling over this because I can't believe he's racing my number. It's just rude. So he better win. If he doesn't win, I'm going to be mad. He's going to be booted from that number.
He'll be out there making it look good. Looks like he's doing a good job with it right now.
He is in that for Rick Seabrans. No stranger to victory lane here in the OP Racing Super Speedway Series. Booth going to drop down in front of him, and now Booth leading his first lap of the night. We're already on lap 4 of 100. We will have 3 stages here tonight. Lap 25 will be the end of stage 1. Lap 50 will be the end of stage 2. And then obviously stage 3 will end on lap 100.
Looking at that 22 machine with Eric Carline, every so often, not sure if he's just looking to get air in the front of that car or if he's thinking about making that 3rd lane work. see him kind of poke out there every now and then, take a quick look, and then drop back into line.
When we mentioned it briefly, the drivers are saying this car is very loose in the draft. So he might be just trying to poke it out, get some air on the nose through the corners. And if someone joins him and they get a run, he might try that third lane. But right now, James Mayer in his sophomore season looking for his first win of the season. He is out front in that 95 machine. He is going to lead his first lap of the race. On his outside is the 35 of Doug Rice. Doug with a good head of steam heading into turn 1, pulls up even with him as they work their way through 1 and 2. Doug Rice might have the run down the backstretch. So far, we've seen these guys from the outside lane drop down to the inside every time they are clear, and they just kind of keep rotating through.
Definitely interesting. You know, as a driver, you're out there, you know that lane's faster, but these guys just want to lead a lap, so drop into that inside is the easiest way to get that lap led.
Mayer in the 95 going to lead his second lap. Rice unable to get it done this time, but they are still holding firm in the outside lane. Got 6 cars working together on the outer lane. Well, it's more than 6. Good thing I got my shoes on, because otherwise I'd blame that, because I can't count.
We're up to 7 KR. There's 7 of them out there. Looks like that 23 machine jumping up there and making me wrong now. Now we're up to 8 on that outside lane.
The things happening very quick. Drivers trying to find the fastest lane and moving with it. A lot of these guys throwing sparks up as well as they hit these bumps. They're bottoming out here, and Sebren's in the 4 pulling down. Not sure what he is doing, but he is hitting pit road here for an early pit stop. And this is a change. Maybe he's not liking the pressure, not liking what he's seeing up there. Gonna make a stop here, get some fuel in that car, and make it to the end of the run. So possibly a strategy call, or maybe some more issues for the 4. Not sure yet.
Definitely something we'll have to keep an eye on, see if that's something that he's just, you know, like you say, trying to make something happen. Whoa!
Oh, big contact. Mark Mann going around. Mark Mann in the 4, up in smoke on lap 8. Heavy contact as they went into 3 and 4. We'll back this up. We'll check this replay out. See what happened here. Down the Daytona backstretch. Mark Mann coming up on Les Levy. The 110 machine right behind him. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 116. The 2 got sideways there. It looked like maybe a car disappeared and reappeared. Not sure who that was. Danny, what are you seeing?
I'm chasing back through here, and I'm not quite able to see who it is that's getting sideways on us there. So we can jump back just a little bit further and get a better handle on what's going on.
It was the 2 of David McCullough got loose going into the corner. The car that was flashing was the 42 of Chris McCullough. He was back behind it, so he wasn't a part of that. But David McCullough went into the corner. Take one more look at this, and it looks like a great call by Rick Sebrands, as he was able to avoid this as he was down pit road. If everyone hits pit road, he's going to come out on top. But McCullough here gets loose, tags the 04, and goes for a spin. But Cody Eldred in the 14, now your race leader, as he stayed out. Everyone else has hit pit road. Rod Flagg, your pole sitter, on the first pit stall. And already Doug Rice out winning the race off of pit road by a long shot. Cody Eldred, who did not pit, he is going to stay out front, and Rick Seabrand's in the 4, who had just come down pit road under green flag conditions, is now sitting in second with Doug Rice in third, and Kenneth McCullough in the 89 sitting in fourth. Rounding out your top 5 for this is the 23 of Rod Flagg.
Rick could not have timed that any better, you know, pulled in there, and then the very next lap these guys bring out the caution for him, so lets him get caught back up. Dropping in there by himself was pretty risky. No one to work with to get back up to speed or try and catch the pack again.
Definitely a gutsy move, but it has worked out. Maybe he saw something, like I said, he didn't like. I have raced against Rick, and I will tell you, he's a very smart and calculating driver. And wow, that move he just made has paid off big time, as now the 14 of Cody Eldred is going to hit pit road. So the 4 of Seabrands, now your race leader. So good move on his part. Not something I expected to see this early on, but the 4 out front once again with an early pit strategy. And now several drivers trying to get up to speed here as they exit pit road. The 2 got a little sideways there.
We'll have to keep an eye on Rick through the night, see if that early hit strategy is something he's doing, or if it's just, like you say, didn't like what he was seeing, so he brought it in.
Doug Rice in the 35, sitting in second place. Let's see here if I can get a word in with the driver of the 4 machine. I try and pull him into the broadcast booth. Rick Seabrands, you got your ears on, bud?
Yeah, 10-4, loud clear.
Hey, Rick, we saw you hit pit road very early there. Any particular reason for that? Something you saw or a strategy call all along?
Well, I tell you what, the car just absolutely lost traction there. I all but wrecked and just didn't hit anything. And thankfully, I was right there where I could just get woed up and get to the pits because, man, I don't know. I've never felt a car really get like that. I don't know if it's the track temps and the setup that we got or not. But this Alliance Motorsports Camaro is going to be really fast out here, I hope. Hopefully a little track position, a little clean air will get us what we need and get a good finish for this stage.
Well, that pit stop and caution worked to your favor. You're now leading this race. And man, I'll tell you what, that was a good move. Good save then if it got out of control for you, but nice job and good luck the rest of this stage.
All right, man, thanks.
Driver of the 4 machine, Rick Seabrands, giving us a quick little word. And Rick, please forgive me, but I forget what team you're in. Last lap?
Alliance Motorsports.
Alliance Motorsports, there we go. All right, driver of the 4 with Alliance Motorsports. So, okay, so it wasn't something he saw. Just got loose coming off a 4 and decided I'm gonna make a pit stop.
Well, you know what? That's the kind of luck I'll take all night long. You know, racing good's great, but at these super speedways, that luck, more often than not, what gets you towards the front.
Worked well in his favor, and right now he is the first car behind the pace car. Doug Rice gonna restart on his outside. That will make up row number 1 for this restart. Row number 2 will be made up of the 23 of Rod Flagg, and on his outside will be the 89 of Kenneth McCullough, making up our front 2 rows here. So far, we've seen these drivers really struggling to get through the corner. We talked about something, and it looks like it is coming true in practice. We mentioned how these drivers were saying the car is very loose in the draft. We saw the 2 machine of David McCullough go into the corner, get loose, collect the 04 and several other drivers. Pace car is off. Here we go. Seabrands on the throttle. Doug Rice trying to get through the gearbox. Can't do it as quickly and efficiently. Rod Flagg in the 23 right on the back bumper of the 4, Rick Seabrands. Those two are going to push each other into turn number 1 with the advantage. And now Rod Flagg looks like he is going to move to the high side right in front of Doug Rice. And Doug going to give him a nice little bump coming down the backstretch. Flagg maybe going to have a challenge for the lead as he comes around the backstretch.
Looking back just a little ways, already starting to see a second pack forming up. Big contact in the front again. It's like the 22 and the 89 coming together through that corner.
Kenneth McCullough going for a spin. Several other drivers involved in this one, as it looks like Eric Carline facing the wrong direction. High centered, he can't get that thing rolling. He is going to take the tow truck back to his pit stall. That is going to cost him a lot of time. We go on board with Eric Carline in the 22 to see what happened here. McCullough got loose, came down onto the 89. Big stack up with a lot of drivers. And just like that, we're back under caution. Not really something we see too often, but trying to check every angle of this incident.
Looking back at it, looks like that just 89 machine just gets a little loose coming through that corner, and like we've been talking about all night long, everybody's saying those cars are loose, and I think we're just seeing the results of it.
Several drivers able to squeak through by the skin of their teeth. Several others not doing so. The 39 of Jacob Sayers heavily damaged. But the 23 Rod Flagg was out front. When that happened, he is scored as the race leader for the moment. No one coming down pit road that is out front. The 82 of Daniel Harrington, first one to hit pit road. You can check out his stream on Twitch. That is Demon Tech 82. Another shot of the race, if you will. If you stop in there, tell him I sent you. He'll get a kick out of it. Otherwise, yeah. So 4 tires and away they go. So we have a little bit of different strategies here. A lot of drivers working on some damage also. But Rod Flagg, your race leader, and Danny, stage 1 already working at second caution of the night.
I think it's just going to take a minute for these guys to get a handle on the car, and once they do, I expect to see some great racing out here. These guys be working together and pushing their way around the track.
Caution number 2 so far. 4 laps under yellow. 86 laps to go. We've already seen 6 lead changes. So the drivers are out there really mixing it up. You know, these early cautions, we saw a wild one at Talladega last week. Unfortunately, you weren't here for that, Danny, but the opening lap saw a huge pile up as contact was made in the front of the field, and everyone bunched up very close as it was the opening lap. No one had anywhere to go. And again, we see cars getting loose here at Daytona, so maybe this A car has some work that needs done on it, and we're seeing these drivers just go into the corner and the rear tires just breaking loose.
Yeah, as I was looking back at it, it doesn't look like he hits a bump and all of a sudden loses or anything like that. He's running that high line. It's that car just all of a sudden kind of snaps on him. It was kind of strange watching it.
So lap 16 of 100 being worked right now. As I mentioned, lap 25 will be the end of the stage. When they cross the start finish line of lap 25, that will be the end of the stage. Should the caution come out and the caution carries over to the end of the stage, how they are set by the caution will determine the stage winner. Definitely a difficult track and car combo for the moment. We haven't talked a whole lot about the weather here tonight, but it is 78 degrees with a track temperature of 101. A very gentle breeze at 2 miles per hour. Very low humidity, no fog, and the air pressure is right at 22 HPA. What is HPA?
You got me. I was gonna come up with something, but I couldn't even come up with anything that seems halfway believable.
Is that can't be the abbreviation for atmospheric? I know they do bar and atmospheres. I've never seen HPA. Huh. Live and learn.
Yeah, I got nothing for you. Like you say, I've seen bar and I've seen a couple other deals, and HPA, other than paintball, doesn't make any sense to me.
What's HPA in paintball?
Isn't it like high pressure apparatus or some nonsense like that?
That makes sense.
High pressure air, maybe? Yeah, it's high pressure air in paintball because that's how the tanks are filled.
I like paintball. I got shot in the neck, left a mark, hurt a lot.
They'll do that. They definitely will.
After that little incident, I went and bought a little neck cover. That one hurt. Made me question the years I played paintball, like, why? Why did I do it for all these years to have this happen? The things we do for fun. All right, field side by side. Lights are out on the Ford Mustang, probably because it's broken.
There's good odds there.
Good odds. All right, Rod Flagg, our pole sitter, once again in control of the field. Rick Seabrand's in the Ford, going to restart on his outside. Here we go. Green flag is out, and away we go. Up through the gears, onto the throttle. No one's spinning the tires at the front of the field. That's a good sign. Rod Flagg going to move up to the high side here, right in front of Rick Seabrand's. That's going to give Doug Rice a good bit of momentum, but Les Levy has to close the gap as quickly as possible, and Rick Seabrand's going to drop down and fill that hole. Now Rick Seabrand's on the inside, tucked in very close behind the 35 of Doug Rice as they work their way down the backstretch. Doug Rice out front by about half a car length.
Looked like Rod learned a little something. We saw him start on that inside line and hold it down there on the start of the race and have that outside line come around him. So he jumped up there trying to cover that off. But inside line looks like it's the place to be right now. So that outside line is just not going to beat them to the line this time by. Giving that one to Doug Rice.
Doug leading his second lap of the race. Side by side they go, pretty even through the corners. And it looks like Flagg holding steady, really up closer to the wall than we've seen all night long. So maybe that outer lane needs to try and give a lot of room to the inside lane, and these drivers allowing for some wiggle from these bumps.
See a big wiggle there from the 35 machine up there in front. And grab that apron just a touch on the way through that corner.
Rod Flagg through the tri-oval, pulling out in front here. Leading the charge into turn number one. Doug Rice on his inside with a good run through the corner. We'll see this lap after lap, the outside lane losing out through the corner, but the inside lane losing out down the straightaway, except for this time when I say it, Doug Rice and Rick Seabrans with a good head of steam down the backstretch.
Now Doug Rice jumping that outside line to make a move, try and hold that line up a little bit. Interesting to see the different tactics guys are running. That outside line looks to be a little bit more formed up. A few more guys up there running together. Looks like maybe 4 or 5 cars down to the inside running, but another big move out of Rod Flagg now to the inside. These guys are jumping all over the place, cutting up whatever they need to do to get to the front of this pack.
Seabrans now leading on the inside line. Rod Flagg in the 23 as we see another incident happen. Big stack up behind them. The 12 machine is involved. Several cars going around. Big stack up on the backstretch. We're going to have our 3rd caution of this stage 1. We go to our instant replay to see what happened here. Several drivers involved in this one as it started from the front of the pack. Les Levy in the 62, the 95 of James Mayer gets turned down in front of the 62. The 26 of Hunter Reynolds going around. Pirouetting comes to a stop right in front of the 2 of David McCullough. Take another look at this as we go on board with the 02 of David Overstreet. You can see the lead pack up ahead. Mayer gets into the wall.
Up just enough speed off there for that 40 machine behind him to catch him and give him a little bump there.
Wow, so big stack up for several of these drivers here. We're on a lap 22 of 100 coming around to complete that lap. Looks like everyone's going to hit pit road this time. I do not have a word from race control, so we might see a 1-lap shootout for the end of the stage. Rod Flagg in the 23 in his pit box. Right side going up, left side going up. 4 tires for the 23 machine. And the race off of pit road is won by Flagg. Seabrans just a half a car length behind him. Mike Schultz in the 116 machine, your race leader. Don't know if he has been scored as the race leader because he did not pit. Sometimes timing and scoring is a little bit behind. But Schultz tucked in right behind that pace car. So
into that car, yeah.
What an opening stage to the race.
Yeah, no, they're definitely keeping us watching, keeping things exciting, giving us something to look at for sure.
So Schultz not coming down pit road can take advantage of the fact that he did not pit. Rod Flagg, who did take 4 tires in the 23, gonna restart on the outside of row number 1. So, well, this race is going to carry over. Haven't heard from race control yet who our stage winner is. If you give me a second, I will try and contact them.
One of the big movers here tonight is going to be that 35 machine, Doug Rice. Looks like he started in 14th, now Ford sitting in 4th. So, you know, we've been seeing that lead position jump back and forth between those guys quite a bit, but not a whole lot of guys getting involved beyond the front pack there. So good to see him able to make that jump all the way from 14th up to, he was running first for a little bit there, but currently running 4th.
Looks like we have one car out of the race here tonight. That is the 39 of Jacob Gaddam Sayers. Loaded up early and headed home. And word from race control is that the 23 machine of Rod Flagg is going to be our stage winner. So I am trying to see if we can get a word in with Mr. Flagg. Rod Flagg, this is KR and Danny up in the broadcast booth. You got your ears on?
Yeah, I got you guys. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. We're hearing you won stage 1, so congratulations on that. And Danny has some questions for you.
We're just, you know, we're looking out here at the track. A lot of guys all over the place, seeing you kind of changing lanes as needed. How's the track feel? Is one lane feeling better for the car than the other?
Yeah, the outside line is definitely the preferred place to be, at least where it's smoothest on the racetrack, or at least where the car wants to be. So trying to get out there when we get up to speed, and but it seems like the low line, at least on the starts, can get us ahead of the second place and get a little bit of momentum. So hoping to stay up high and win the second stage.
Awesome. Like I said, we're hearing that the cars are pretty loose out here tonight. Are you noticing that towards the front, or is it something that's only happening once you're dropping back in the pack a little bit?
Oh, car's driving beautiful.
That's good to hear. It looks like it's doing well for you, sitting up there in first place right now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Rod. Well, any shout-outs or thank yous you'd like to give?
I just want to thank the WSU Cougars for sexy Toyota Camry, and again, for the OP Racing League admins for putting the race on.
Driver of the 23 machine, Rod Flagg, your winner of stage 1. Giving us a quick word, but the lights have gone out on the pace car. And Danny, why don't you take us through this start?
All right, we'll get ready. Just wait for that Mustang to drop off the pace here.
Well, get it out of the way. It's so slow.
Not seeing, I think about the only time you're going to see a Mustang leading the races right now. There he goes, he jumps off, get these guys rolling again. 23, Rod Flagg back to that loud pedal, getting that machine up to speed, up through the gears. Sucking right up behind him, there's going to be Doug Rice, going to be working with Rod Flagg coming into 1 here. The 4 machine of Rick Seabrins out there working with the 77 of David Booth. Those two are going to work together on the outside line, watching Rod Flagg jump to that outside line. We heard him in the interview there talking about how that outside line is a lot nicer to run for the car. So no surprise to see him jumping to that outside line as soon as he got a chance.
Down the backstretch we go. Rick Seabrins in the 4, sliding down to the inside line with a good head of steam through 3 and 4 here. Doug Rice trying to close the gap to him, and Seabrins with that momentum could be out front. We see a puff of smoke from a car. We got one headed to pit road, and Seabrins is going to lead this lap. So Rick Seabrins scored as the lap leader, make that his 6th lap led as they work their way into 1 and 2. Side by side they go. Drivers really trying to dig hard, dig deep. 25 laps for stage number 2. We are looking at a fuel run of anywhere from 18 to 20 laps. These guys might have to hit pit road if this stays green, and that will definitely throw a wrench into some things here tonight.
Starting to see a little bit of distance between this front pack and that 38 machine, Cody Leavitt. He's maybe working a little bit of strategy there, not running up in what has kind of been a mess through the night, but you know, that's a dangerous game to play like we saw earlier with the race. If you get left behind, that pack can come around and get you. So if these guys drop off the back too much, they're going to be at the mercy of waiting for a caution to come out.
Mike Schultz was the driver we saw ahead for pit lane. He is gotten off of pit road, but he is down one lap. Another driver going a lap down. That is the one machine of Mark Vega. So Mark Vega looking at trying to be the first car one lap down. We'll try and keep an eye on that as this race progresses. So far, we have 30 cars out on track, and we have 27 on the lead lap with Mark Vega in 28th spot, the first car one lap down.
Lead pack here running nice side by side. You guys seem to have a good handle on the car, not bouncing around too much, just a little bit of floating coming out of the corner there. That 62 machine of Les Levy trying to get caught up to the tail end of this pack.
Go on board with Cody Eldred as the lead pack comes flashing past. He's going to hold tight to the outside lane. Everyone able to get through cleanly and quickly. Now Cody Eldred, the first car, one lap down in the 14 machine. He has got to close in on this lead pack. Get into the draft here and stay in front of Mark Vega in the one machine.
Always gets you a little bit worried when you see the too wide pack coming up on a lap car, you know, where that car is going to go and are they going to be able to make it through. That 3 wide can be a dangerous thing to do here, especially as bumpy as it is.
Back to the front we go. Doug Rice, Rick Seabrans battling side by side through 3 and 4. Rod Flagg, second car in the outside line. And Anthony English in the 40, tucked in tight behind the 4 of Seabrans. Through the trial they go. Seabrans leading another lap here. And another lap car coming up for this lead pack. And as you mentioned, it's always a moment of hold your breath, because when they catch them, if it's through a corner, these drivers really starting to show just how difficult this car is to get through the corner. However, it looks like our lap car is going to pull down to the inside and hold it down there. Well, maybe he's moving to the high side. That is Aspen Belvin in the 84.
A little bit easier section to come past him here. Maybe not quite right through the tri-oval, but definitely better than coming through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
So Aspen Belvin in the 84, he goes 1 lap down. Oh, I'm sorry, he is 4 laps down now. But the battle stays the same up front. Doug Rice versus Rick Seabrans as we're on lap 32 of 100. And now the 23 of Rod Flagg dropping down in front of Seabrans to the inside line, trying to make something happen. Now he's going to move up in front of Rice to the outer lane. We heard him say he would like to be on the outside line, so he made a beautiful pass on Doug Rice, slid down in front of Seabrans, used the momentum, and then slid back up in front of Doug Rice. And Rod Flagg going to lead his 11th lap of the race here tonight.
Outside line stayed nice and formed up. They got 3 or 4 cars working with them there. Inside though, got 40 machine. Anthony English pushes really well, able to keep that inside line moving.
Another lap car pulling down out of the way. I believe that is the one of Mark Vega, who is now 2 laps down, heavily damaged in that one machine. To losing another lap, Mark Vega, big uphill battle to get into this race once again, as he is running in 29th spot, 2 laps down. have two packs of cars here right now. Our lead pack, led by Rod Flagg and Rick Seabrans, they are out front and have been out front for a majority of this race. These two drivers carrying these lead lap cars so far. Doug Rice in the 35, another multi-lap leader. Right now he is the second car in the outside lane. When we go all the way back to the 22 of Eric Carline, he is leading this second group of drivers. And Carline hugging the inside lane in the Mobile 122 machine, sitting in 15th spot. A lot of room between our lead pack and this pack. So I wonder what has happened to these drivers. Have they decided that maybe they need to hang back a little bit? Or was there a big checkup that caused these guys to fall off the lead pack?
Looking at these cars, most of them look pretty clean. That 10 machine might be a little banged up, but Carline leading the pack looks just fine. So, like you say, probably just a big checkup somewhere. So we got a caution out here on track somewhere.
Looks like the 62 of Les Levy pulling down pit road. Let's go to our instant replay and see what happened here. The 77, the 62 all get together right there. They go spinning to the inside wall on the front stretch. The 77 of David Booth. Take another look at this here. Booth dropped down below the yellow line, got sideways, had to check up. Everyone trying to give him room, and then Les Levy got loose while trying to keep the car 3 wide as he was in the middle there. We go under caution once again. And we find ourselves with the 4 of Rick Seabrans scored out front, the 23 of Rod Flagg sitting in second.
These guys out front definitely just been trading that, front position back and forth throughout the night. Lots of lead changes for sure.
So Rick Seabrans in the 4. I expect to see everyone come down pit road for 4 tires and fuel. This should be the last stop of the stage. And down pit road they come. Aspen Belvin in the 84, a lap down car. He is going to hit his next time around. But Seabrans leading the charge. Rod Flagg in the 23, tucked in right behind him. And 2 tire stops all around. Rod Flagg going to get off of pit road first. Seabrans, then Doug Rice. So while we reset the field, guys, we're going to step away for a minute, and we will be right back after this.
wanted the best, you got him 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back to the Turn 3 Racing Network with the OP Racing League here from the old Daytona, as everyone likes to call it. Nice and bumpy track these guys are working with. We are working on lap 40 out of 100. Right now under caution after our last little wreck there. Currently sitting in the front of the field is the 23 Rod Flagg with Rick Stebrands in the 4 machine sitting to his outside. Second row, we got David McCullough and Douglas Rice. Behind them's Anthony English and Chase Berry. Just behind them, Alex Green and Cody Ober with Daniel Harrington and Eric Clayton sitting in 10th.
Drivers lined up nice and pretty, held up by that Ford Mustang. That Mustang doing the best it can. Rod Flagg driving a Toyota. This field heavily stacked with the Chevy Camaro ZL1 here tonight. The majority of these drivers driving the Chevy Camaro, but the Mustang getting out of our way. Rod Flagg in that overhead cam 4-cylinder engine doing all he can to get it wound up. Here we go. Green flag is out. Flagman waving as fiercely as possible, and Rod Flagg and Rick Stebrands, who have been out front for a majority of this race, lead the charge into turn number 1.
Rod Flagg on that inside line, working with that 35 machine. Douglas Rice there behind him. Those two looking like they might be a better pair. That 2 machine of David McCullough a little bit banged up, so he's not going to be able to get quite up to speed quite like these other guys.
McCullough in the 2, we saw him bring out the first caution and give us a peek of what was to come as he got loose in the corner, but a good recovery by that 2 as he is now battling inside the top 5 as the drivers go through the tri-oval. Rod Flagg leads his 17th lap of the season.
Once again, we see Rick Sebring dive into that inside or making that cut down there. Just trading spots back and forth with Rod Flagg. Those guys just back and forth. Who wants that inside line? Who wants to lead the lap, basically?
Rod Flagg, Rick Sebrands have been the dominating cars here so far. Very strong runners, putting those machines in the spots that they need to be out front. They have traded the lead time and time again with the 35 of Doug Rice right there as well. Now Doug Rice right behind the 4, giving him a good little shove as they head off into turn number 1. Side by side, this field goes with the 11 of Chase Berry blinking out, and the driver we haven't talked about for all night long, that is the 8 machine of Cody Ober, starting to sneak his way in with the 15 of Alex Green on his inside.
That inside line, a little gap between that 15 and 40 of Anthony English. Not quite as tight. That outside line looking pretty good. A little bit of blinking there is going to keep guys guessing, not able to work with each other quite the way they're going to want to. That 4 of Rick Seabrands gets a big run coming out of that corner. Able to get out there ahead. Douglas Rice quick though to jump to that outside line. See him working with the 23 Rod Flagg now. Anthony English pushing the 4 of Rick Seabrands into 3 and 4. We've watched Anthony throughout the night doing some great pushing, staying right up on that bumper without disrupting the car in front of him too much.
Anthony English in the 40 machine, working with Rick Seabrands right now on the inside line. Here comes the 35 of Doug Rice, leading the charge on the outside. As we are on board with Anthony English, you can see just how bumpy this track is. These cars bouncing all over the place. Drivers having their hands full behind the steering wheel, doing all they can to keep this car straight and on track as we're looking at 5 laps to go here in stage number 2.
You know, with that view we're looking at there from the roof, it's almost kind of cheating. When you're sitting in that driver's seat, all you're seeing is that car in front of you. You don't have a whole lot of track to work with. All you're kind of doing is following the guy in front of you and hoping that he knows where he's going.
Rick Seabrands, Doug Rice, leading the charge on the inside and outside lanes respectively. Now we got one car trying to make something happen in the middle, trying to force a 3-wide situation here. That is the 15 out of the screen, Mr. Excitement himself, and behind them they're crashing. The 2 of David McCullough going around. Big stack up behind them as David McCullough gets caught up in another one. That 2 machine gets rolling, but we're back under caution here. And we go to our replay to figure out what happened here. The 2 of David McCullough in another incident here tonight. Not sure what brought this one out, but we see Alex Green in a 3-wide situation. McCullough gets loose going into the corner. Chase Berry trying to close up, check up the 10 machine of Duvendak, getting a piece of it as well. Take another look at this. On board the 10 of Robert Duvendak. So caution flies once again. That should give the stage win to Rick Seabrands in the 4. And race control confirms it. Rick Seabrands, your stage 2 winner, and he is going to head down pit road. So a difficult car to drive here tonight at the Daytona track. Several times we have seen cars get loose at corner entry and cause a big issue. Drivers taking no chances here. A lot of 4-tire changes. It seems like every opportunity these drivers get, they are wanting 4 tires to get rolling. All right, so let's see if we can get the driver of the 4 machine, Rick Seabrands, up in the broadcast booth from Alliance Motorsports. Rick, you got your ears on, bud?
Yeah, 10-4, loud clear.
Well, confirmed by race control as the stage 2 winner. Tell us a little bit about how difficult this car is to drive, because it seems like a lot of drivers are losing it going into the corner.
Yeah, I tell you what, that stage when there goes all of my Alliance Motorsports teammates there. Anthony English, he did a tremendous job of pushing this Yeti Camaro up here to the front so we can get a stage, man. We've been struggling so far this season, and we had a goal to get some stage points tonight, and we've done that. I'm not really sure how these cars look to the audience and to you guys out there, man, but they are an absolute handful tonight. I mean, you see me get loose and have to pit in that first stage, and out front and in the middle, in the back, everywhere, man, they're a handful.
With these cars being a handful in the drive, how are you and Rod Flagg adapting to it to make sure that you guys are out front time and time again?
Yeah, there's been plenty of times where Rod has given me plenty of room, and you know, I'll put Douglas Rice in there too, man. He's been up here all night also battling it out, man. He's just good drivers up here, man. This setup's a handful. The track conditions aren't ideal, and drivers are given space up front. It has been fun up here, so hopefully we can continue that and maybe come out of here with a trophy tonight.
All right, Rick. Well, man, so far this race has been exciting, very close racing. And a lot of this setup is being blamed on these cautions. What can a driver do to, you know, kind of control their car? Like, are you having to lift at corner entry? What have you found that is working so well for you?
Yeah, I know in the pack and in the back, when you're up against somebody, you have to lift about 2-3 car lengths normally. A little earlier than you would if you was at regular Daytona. It's just they're just so loose, they're just coming unbalanced for some reason. But you know, they're manageable, but you just got to give and take out there, and every chance you get, put on some new Goodyears, and hopefully they grip, because these restarts mean a lot too.
All right, Rick. Well, man, nice job on picking up stage 2. Congratulations on that. Shout outs, thank yous.
Yeah, just Alliance Motorsports, again, my teammate Anthony for keeping me up here, and Yeti Water Coolers with Jack Daniels for being with me so long.
All right, Rick Seabrands, driver of the 4 machine, Alliance Motorsports driver, getting it done here for stage number 2. Lights have gone out. Rod Flagg on the inside for this restart. Our stage 2 winner, Rick Seabrands on his outside. And I'll tell you what, this race has been caution-filled, but honestly, I gotta say that this track, this car, this setup, really playing a factor into it. I've never seen this group of drivers struggle into corner entry the way that they have all night long. I gotta believe that the setup, this change has really thrown a very hard curveball to these drivers. And Danny, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of glad I'm in the broadcast booth tonight.
I feel a lot safer up here than I would down on that track, that's for sure. You know, as we've looked back at these different wrecks, it doesn't look like anything's happened, and then all of a sudden the car's snapping on them. So, well, like they're saying, it's something to do with the setup and just the way the car's going into the corner. It's not liking something.
Well, either way, the cream rises to the top. We are seeing the drivers who can adapt to it very well. And right now, Rick Seabrands, Rod Flagg, Doug Rice, they've been the dominating cars in this race. But now we're starting to see Josh Milam up front. He's the 3rd car in the outside lane. Anthony English in the 40, he's starting to make some noise. As with green flag comes out, we're back underway here at the Bumpy Road 250. And it is earning its name, the Bumpy Road 250, as sparks fly off these cars as they bottom out, going over these bumps. This Daytona track has got these drivers putting their elbows up, and I gotta say, if I was in the car, I'd be pulling my straps down a little bit tighter and be hoping that my arm restraints were tied in tight. But then again, arm restraints aren't something that cup drivers use. That's something for us open wheel dirt track drivers.
Well, I'm sure some of these guys be wishing they would have had them. You know, and getting caught up in these wrecks, any way you can secure yourself, keep you happy.
And we haven't seen anyone flip here tonight, but wouldn't it be strange to see that happen? But I can tell you, you know, in my racing experience, my arm restraints, having those on is a good comfort, because when you start flipping, you want those.
Looking here, this front pack starting to form up again. You know, these guys, like watching them back and forth. There goes Seabrand back down to the inside, dropping there in front of Rod Flagg. Heard those guys talking about giving each other plenty of room, and it's working for them. You know, they've seen themselves out front for the majority of the night. Give each other a little bit of room, and things seem to work out well for you.
We mentioned Josh Milam in the 7 machine. Right now, he is running in 4th place. He started 16th. Haven't talked a whole lot about him, but this FSR driver, no stranger to winning a race here in the OP Racing Super Speedway Series. And right now, he is in 4th, trying to get out front. We're in the final stage, the final 50-lap sprint to the end of the race. And here he is setting himself up, making himself known now behind the 35 of Doug Rice. Another driver having a good race here at the later stages. That is the 8 of Cody Ober, and a FSR driver, the 28 of Derek Conley. Derek Conley hasn't had a whole lot of luck this season, but so far, I believe this is the first time he's made it into the final stage. And if he's got a shot at winning this race, I have a feeling that that 28 machine is going to make some noise in the final laps of tonight's event.
Well, anytime you come here to the Super Speedway, it all, you know, everybody sets themselves up throughout the race, but really it comes down to that last lap. If something crazy happens, somebody sitting back in 15th can end up with that checkered flag.
We go on board with the 12 of Tristan Walker. Looking out the back of this, big old spoiler on these things. A lot of drag, a lot of downforce, but it doesn't seem to be helping a whole lot tonight, as they are all very loose, working their way through these corners. The 89 of Kenneth McCullough caught up in some earlier incidents, but that 89 machine right now up along the wall outside of Tristan Walker, doing what he needs to do to keep himself in this race. And I really, you know, when we talked about it in practice, how loose these guys were, I did not expect what we would see here as far as all these incidents and everything that is going on. But these drivers now in the final stage have a good feel for it. They have started to dial in the cars, start to feel it out a little bit, and we're starting to see some longer green flag runs.
Yeah, I think the longer we go, these guys will get it figured out and get something going here for the end of the race. We're seeing that lead pack now catching up the lap down car, so once again we'll be holding our breath as they come on by.
On board with our 24th place driver, Robert Dumendak, in the 10 machine, a rookie here in the OP Racing Super Speedway Series on Monday night. Dumendak, I personally challenged to try and get involved in this series. He joined the feeder series, and here he is on Monday night, just showing that anyone who shows up in the feeder series can make it to the Monday Night League. If you guys are interested in joining the OP Racing Super Speedway Series on Monday nights, hit them up, join their leagues, run their 2 feeder series that runs on Wednesday night and Saturday night, I believe. They'd run the trucks on Wednesday and then the K&N on Saturday. I could be wrong on that, as my memory escapes me. Escape. Words have left me. I am out to lunch on that. Wow, I feel bad.
You might feel bad, but the racing is getting good out here on track. These guys staying with each other, like we were talking about, you know, getting these cars dialed in, getting a feel for what it's going to do through these corners. this new package here, I think these guys, this is really kind of probably the first time these guys have run these cars here since the update.
Aspen Belvin in the 84 machine, our inaugural season champion. He finds himself 4 laps down right now, running in 30th place. But he is mixing it up with this lead pack. Should he be able to use some strategy? It is a long shot for that 84 machine. But the way this race is going, he might be able to get back onto the lead lap. He is going to need a lot of luck, a lot of help. But he is not giving up. Even though he is 4 laps down, he is still out there, still digging, still trying to make something happen. So I'm going to give the Hard Luck Award, my hats off award, to the 84 Aspen Belvin. As I said, even though he is 4 laps down, he is still out there, still digging, still trying. And I always appreciate a driver that never gives up.
That's the only way to get better. Spend more time out there on the track.
Oh, for sure. Laps are everything.
Throwing the towel in after the first little incident's not going to do you any good. So get out there, get some laps, and you know, keep the fact that you got a long season to work with in mind. Get some experience, get some data under your hat.
David Booth coming off of pit road. Had a pit stop there. Booth in 28th spot in the 77 machine.
Big contact up in the front. That 8 machine, Cody Ober getting together with Carter just to his inside. Looked like that was the 15 Alex Green that he might have got with.
Cody Ober, heavy damage on the back end of his machine. Let's back this up. Let's go to our Turn 3 Racing Network replay. Side by side, the 15 and the 8 as they go into turn number 3. Contact happens, the 15 and the 8 again make contact. The 28 of Derek Conley. Aspen Belvin going for a spin. It looks like everyone stays straight, but with all the contact and sideways action, iRacing through the caution there. A lot of drivers getting some damage, but no one really got spun out. So that was an interesting one right there.
Not quite sure what got us there. Maybe one more time through, see if we can get a better look.
Back this replay up a little bit too far here, but the 15 and the 8 make contact as they were running side by side. It hit turn number 3. Looks like Cody Ober got into the corner, got a little loose with the 15 getting loose underneath them. Aspen Belvin, I mean, that was just a lot of drivers, a lot of good saves right there. Everyone got together, got sideways. Wow, what a moment that was.
Not quite the way you want to highlight it, but definitely a highlight of how the handle some of these drivers have on these cars. They're able to have that contact, have all that chaos going on in front of them. Still keep that car pointed down the track, headed in the right direction, rather than down through the infield or through the grass somewhere.
Another pit stop, another 4-tire change for all these drivers. Rick Seabrand's in the 4, rolling off of pit road first this time. Josh Milam in the 7, coming off second. That 7 machine, little beat up, little heavy on the damage side, but with lap 62 of 100 being worked right here, Rick Seabrand's out front of these guys who hit pit road. Daniel Harrington in the 82 being scored as our race leader, but I do not believe he hit his pit stall. Looks like he has got some heavy damage on that 82 machine. Maybe he's going to come down pit road this time around. Lights are on the pace car. We're going to step away for a moment, guys. We'll be right back after this.
Racing. You wanted the best, you got him 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Back here at Turn 3, Racing Network OP Super Speedway League. The pace car drops off the track. The field is in the hands of Rick Seabrands, and he is on the loud pedal. Getting these guys rolling again. Douglas Rice right there with him. Looks like that 7 machine, Josh Milam. A little bit of damage, definitely slowing him up. 23 of Rod Flagg coming up behind. Able to get that car going as he and David McCullough going to work that inside line. Rick Seabrands out to that outside, going to have the pick of the lane he wants coming in here to 3 and 4. That 35 machine just not getting quite the push he's going to want from Josh Milam there behind him. That 7 machine, like we said, a little bit of damage, going to slow him down here. Once he gets into the pack somewhere, he should be all right, but definitely not the car you're going to wad out in front of, pulling everybody along.
Shout out to the 07 machine of Scott Bellum. Haven't talked about him all race long. Started 30th. Right now he is running in 8th place, setting himself up well here in the final stage of this Daytona Bumpy Road 250. And right now he is the inside car tucked in right behind the 2 of David McCullough. And we have seen David McCullough in several incidences tonight. However, it looks like he has saved his fast repair for the end of the race. Made good use of that fast repair as that 2 machine looking very straight, very solid now. And McCullough tucked in very tight, that inside line. First 3 cars very close to each other, nose to tail. Same going for the outside line. These drivers running nose to tail, wiggling all over the place. Let's give credit where credit is due. This car very difficult to drive tonight, but these drivers are finding a way to make it happen.
This front pack here, they've figured something out, whether it's where exactly you need to be lifting or where to be picking that throttle back up or whatever it is that they're doing. It's keeping that car nice and stable under them. You're not seeing them jump around quite the same way you are towards the back of the field where guys are kind of snaking all over the place.
Rick Seabrands in the 4. Your race leader has led for 27 laps. Doug Rice in the 35, though, is going to lead that lap. And Doug Rice in the 35 will lead his 11th lap of this race. He has been steadily in the top 3 all night long, along with the 23 of Rod Flagg sitting in 3rd place right now. Those guys have been our 3 top drivers all race long. But we have some new front runners: David McCullough, Josh Milam, Cody Over, Anthony English. These guys, they haven't given up just yet. They are all setting themselves up to be in the perfect spot to strike and take advantage of any opportunities that present themselves.
We're seeing this front pack stay together a lot more. It's a lot bigger than it has been most of the night. Looks like what, 16, 17 cars in this front pack, whereas before, you know, we had the 8, 9, 10 cars running and then that gap. So maybe guys decided now's the time to push. You know, as a driver, we start seeing those laps tick off. Now's the time you're looking to get to the front to set yourself up for those last lap moves.
Doug Rice leading the charge on the outside line. Rick Sebrand's in the 4. Has really been committed to the bottom all race long. Rod Flagg mentioned he liked the high side, and one could post an argument that the 4 has been committed to the bottom. As Sebrand's making it work, he has led now his 29th lap of the race. The inside line working very well for Sebrand's, and I'll tell you, these guys, as we have talked about it, this car very difficult to drive. But these top 3 drivers that we have right now, Rod Flagg said the car is perfect. He loves the way it's driving. Doug Rice, if we get a chance to talk to him, we will. I got to believe that he's going to say the same thing. Oh, contact happening. Doug Rice involved. David McCullough going around. Cody Ober involved. Josh Milam in there as well. Alex Green, another big stack up here as they were working their way through 3 and 4. Let's go to our instant replay and see what happened here. Doug Rice in the 35, the 7 of Josh Milam. Looks like he gets into the quarter panel of the 2 of David McCullough. And everyone just scatters, tries to find a way through. A lot of damaged cars in this one. We go on board with the 15 of Alex Green here. Heavy damage to the 15 machine. Take one more look at it. Eric Carline in the 22 just jams the brakes, lets it happen, play out. He is going to be able to pick his way carefully through this one. But a lot of torn up cars here in the final stage as we're coming up on 25 laps to go. Everyone on pit road once again for 4 tires. And Danny, another caution here in the OP Racing.
Just a little bit of bad luck there, guys. Cars floating around a little bit and making contact.
Man, imagine the bumps and bruises these guys are going to have tomorrow morning.
That has to be one of the big perks of doing this sim racing over the real deal. You can crash the car a couple times and 1, not pay for it, and 2, you don't hurt in the morning.
You know, I have often said that this sim racing thing is about the only time you can legally drink and drive. The worst fear you have is falling out of your seat, maybe breaking a bone on your way down. But these guys really having a hard time with the car tonight. Not 100% sure what the setup change is that is showing this car to be difficult to drive. But man, I'll tell you, I am really glad I'm not out there, because I have a feeling that I don't think I could handle this car seeing what's going on out there.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier, I'm more than happy to be up here in the booth right now and not down on track worrying about the chaos that's going on around me.
All right, working lap 73 of 100. Our race leader is our pole sitter, Rod Flagg, a rookie here in the OP Racing Super Speedway Series, trying to make it 2 in a row on Monday night. Last week's winner out front once again. He's got 2 cars trapped between him and the pace car. One of those is the 84 Aspen Belvin. Aspen looks like he is going to try and take the wave around and maybe get back on the lead lap. Oh, I'm sorry, no, he has now scored 6 laps down. So he might be trying to get one of those laps back. Cody Leavitt in the 38. He is hoping to get a wave around here. He is on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap. So this has been a wild race from start to almost 3/4 of the way through. We know that the fuel run is 18 to 20 laps. So when we get the green flag, maybe around lap 75, these guys are going to have to make one more pit stop to be good to green. But should we even get another caution, I feel that these drivers are going to take advantage of it and everyone will come down for 4 tires. It might lend itself to a possibility for someone deep in the field to take 2 tires, take a big gamble, and gain some track position.
Well, we're talking about 18, 20 laps. You know, you could almost make it to the end if we get one more caution and maybe an extra one after that. So maybe 2 cautions and you could make it to the end. And the way this race is going, if you're deep in the field, maybe that's a gamble you take. Stay out there and kind of just hope for the best.
I know that's a gamble I would take if I was deep in the field. 2 tires, especially if it has the feel of a long green flag run and you know, I'm not in that lead pack. 2 tires for sure under a green flag situation. But we do know they will have to come down for fuel. Tires, on the other hand, gonna be a different story. But Rod Flagg in the 23, electing the inside line for this restart. Rick Seabrand's on his outside. Doug Rice in the 35. Our top 3 drivers have been consistently in the top 3, but we have a new driver in the top 5. That is the 07 of Scott Bellum. And rounding out the top 5 will be James Mayer in the 95 machine with the 15 of Alex Green outside of him. Here we go. Ford Mustang pulling down to the inside. Onto pit road it goes. Green flag is out and we're back underway. Rod Flagg, Rick Seabrands, both these guys getting good restarts here. Side by side they go through this little short chute into turn number 1.
And there he goes, just like we expected. Rod Flagg to that outside line. Talked to us, told us that's where he wanted to be. So first chance he got, he jumped on up there and taking control of that outside line.
Seabrand's in the 4, gonna dive down in the inside with a good run, trying to battle for the lead. Seabrand's with a full head of steam, leading the charge through the corner. Scott Bellum in the 07 trying to suck up to the 23 and give him a good little shove through the triangle. Who's going to be the leader for this lap as they go side by side? Rick Seabrand's leading this lap, and he is going to lead his 32nd lap of the race. Not quite locked in for the most laps led tonight, as Rod Flagg has led quite a few laps himself. So it is coming down to these 2 drivers who is going to lead the most laps.
That outside line starting to make a charge here, coming down the back stretch. Rod Flagg going to be sticking out to the lead there just a little bit. Just behind him, that 07 car, Scott Bellum, like we said, came up through the field, not been up here very long, whereas that 35 machine of Douglas Rice been working with Rick Seabrands throughout the race. Those two maybe got a little something going, understanding where each other like to run, how they like to get that little bump and keep things going. Whereas our outside line, Rod Flagg, Scott Bellum, still are just now starting to figure that out.
Doug Rice sliding up to the high side right in front of Rod Flagg in the 23. Rice trying to lead another lap in the 35 machine. You know, these guys are all jockeying for position as the 23 slices down to the inside. Rod Flagg trying to hold on to his top spot. Now he's going to move up to the top side. Once again, we've seen that move by Rod Flagg several times on the 35 of Rod Flagg, or I'm sorry, the 35 of Doug Rice, and Rod Flagg going to lead that lap. And man, these guys up front all night long, showing what it takes to have car control in these difficult situations.
It's exciting to see him able to make those moves. You know, it's coming down to timing and knowing what your car is going to do, where it is that you can do that without having any issues. We see the 35, Doug Rice, dive to the inside himself now, lined up there with the 4 of Rick Seabrands. Combo we've seen all night long. Those guys working well together. Looks like both of them almost cleared the 23 of Rod Flagg this time by.
Doing a little bit of housekeeping. We have 25 cars out on track. We started 31 drivers, so attrition taking its toll here a little bit, but with about 21 laps to go, still having 25 drivers out there in these difficult situations. Goes to show you these guys, no one has given up, no one has quit, except for the drivers that are absolutely out of options. And right now we're on board with the 42 of Chris McCullough. He is working the outside lane, tucked in behind his White Trash Racing teammate, the 89 of Kenneth McCullough. And McCullough in that 89 machine started up front, hasn't had the race he would like to have, but he is still out there, can still make something happen. As we see one tag the wall a little bit. Not sure who that was throwing sparks.
Looked like that was the 22 of Eric Carline getting up in that outside wall just a little bit. Able to hold his position there in line though. Get that thing gathered back up and get rolling again. But once again, that car control, a big thing. He's able to hit that wall and not end up down in the infield.
Cody Eldred in the 14 machine. We saw him go a lap down earlier in this race, found a way to get his lap back. Here he is in this lead pack, setting himself up well. He has a race win in the OP Racing Super Speedway Series, doing what he needs to do right now as we see Anthony English in the 40 machine, down on the inside, staying out of the way. English was a front runner earlier on. However, damage has relegated him to being one lap down now. He is doing all he can to finish this thing out.
This front pack is still slicing and dicing. Those guys trading that position back and forth over and over. Looking at that 07 car of Scott Bellum though, you know, you start off in 30th, you start the night just hoping to make something of it. You find yourself up here and just inside the top 5. Are you content to finish there, or are you still pushing to get to the front?
If I'm Scott Bellum, man, my adrenaline's flowing. I know I have a good run going. I want to make everything, I want to make it all pay off. I don't want my hard work to be thrown away by mistakes. So now that I'm up here, I'm being careful, I'm watching what I do, and I want to hold on to the spot I have. The problem is, when you want to hold on tightly to that spot, you may pinch a driver down, you may try and make it a squeeze at the wrong time, All of that can play a factor in this race, but Scott Bellum so far doing a good job ending up in 5th place right now. But he started, like you said, deep in the field, 30th place, and here he is inside the top 5.
Looking like he himself likes that outside line. You see, had a couple opportunities to drop down lows. You see a couple cars pulling off, looking like they're going to be dropping into the pits here. Like we were talking about, not able to make it to the end on fuel, so these guys gambling to drop in early and take that fuel now.
Who's it going to be on lap 100? Don't forget, green-white checkers are a factor here. You got to keep that in mind as well. We're going to have a couple attempts at them. If the caution comes out, we can't finish this under green in normal situation. So a green-white checkered strategy is needing to be factored in, as we have a couple more peeling off the pit road. Doug Rice in the 35 leading another lap. Drivers who hit pit road going a lap down here. One of those is the 84 Aspen Belvin. I believe that's a 16 of Forrest Sparks right in front of him, and it is. Forrest Sparks right now running 22nd spot. But he has his work cut out for him. Not sure what happened to Aspen Belvin. He was trying to get up to speed as he came off of pit road. He went for a spin, so Aspen Belvin's race just not what he would like to have. He has trapped several laps down, trying to get up to speed off pit road. Goes for a spin. Single car incident down below the racing line. No caution for that.
Daniel Harrington, Cody Levitt, and Alex Green, the 3 cars working together, trying to stay in front of that lead pack. Those guys definitely have their work cut out for them, depending on where our cautions fall and where these leaders decide to pit. That lead lap or lead pack definitely flying out there, and these guys working together pretty decently, but you know, 3 cars is definitely not going to come out on top against 8 or 9 cars running all together.
Doug Rice out front leading this charge. James Mayer in the 95 leading the outside lane. Mayer in his sophomore season doing a good job, setting himself up very well right now out in front of Rod Flagg. And Mayer in the 95 out front for the moment. Can he hold on to the lead when they come to the start-finish line? Was not able to clear Doug Rice down the straightaway. He's on the outside lane, and Rice able to pull in front of him. And it looks like Doug Rice is going to lead this lap again, but Mayer posting a challenge to the 95, or the 35. Wow, these guys. The numbers confuse me.
They're real tricky. Sometimes you got to look at them 2 or 3 times before you figure out what's going on there.
I got my shoes on. I can't see my toes to count.
Oh, is that what the issue is? All right. We'll have to get you some counting machines or something.
Yeah, I need to wear like those form-fitting Crocs or whatever it is, where your aqua shoes or something where you can see your toes.
There you go. We'll have to get you some of those for broadcast nights.
All right.
You know, that 95 with James Mayer, you know, he's another one of our cars. Started towards the back. Looked like, well, started 10th, but ended up dropping back to 20th at one point. Now sitting here in second, you know, same kind of deal with Scott Bellum. Don't want to give up those spots, but don't want to go too crazy trying to hang on to what you got now.
Nope, Scott Bellum in the 07. Now he's on the inside of the 95 of James Mayer. Mayer doesn't have anyone on his back bumper and is starting to lose him some ground here as Bellum trying to close the gap to the 35 and the 4. Cody Eldred in the 14 now. Second car on the outside line. Rod Flagg tucked in right behind him, but Doug Rice in the 35 machine out front with Rick Seabrands. Here comes that outside line though. They are starting to gain some momentum. Could Mayer lead a lap in that 95 machine?
They're riding down nice and low, trying to stay as tight as he can, or as safely as he can, you know. Can't get right on that door the way these cars bounce around, but definitely riding a little bit lower than we see these lines coming through those corners.
We got 3 cars about ready to go a lap down. That is the 15 of Alex Green, the 82 of Daniel Harrington, and the 38 of Cody Leavitt. They are the last 3 cars on the lead lap. They are trying to stay on the lead lap as James Mayer in the 95 is looking at these 3 cars going, man, I'm out front. I'd like to win a race. Now I have to deal with these guys with 10 laps to go.
On these lead cars, I don't know if we've seen them come down pit road, so can they make it to the end on what they got?
I don't think so. I think this lead pack of drivers are going to have to hit pit road sooner or later, and here they come.
There they come.
Everyone hitting pit road this time. This whole lead pack onto pit road. Now we got to watch Alex Green as he leads this 3 pack of drivers. They have made their pit stops. Can they stay formed up? Can they stay up to speed and make a pass for the lead? This would be a great call by the 15, the 82, and the 38 if it can happen. Eric Carline in the 22. He is scored as our race leader, but he is all by himself for the moment. Rod Flagg, the race off of pit road being won by him. They are getting up to speed and off of pit road, working their way through the corner on this apron. Track very tricky here tonight to get up to speed on pit road. Carline pitting all by himself. He is in a bad situation. So your race leader on pit road, no help whatsoever. Check in on Alex Green. Daniel Harrington, Cody Leavitt, they're making some moves here, but I don't think they're going to have enough momentum to take the top spot. They are now working their way through the field here. And no, I don't think so.
I think what they got going for them is they're already formed up. They're ready to go. Whereas these other cars, you know, we're seeing big gaps. One car running by itself, somebody running on the outside. Those guys, if they can stay formed up, I see them making quite a few more positions. Maybe not up to the front there, but definitely doing a lot better than they were.
Rod Flagg in the 23, now your race leader. Green Flagg's pit stops have really spread this field out. The 23 leading a 4-car group. James Mayer sitting in second, 4 of Rick Seabrans, the 14 of Cody Eldred, and then Mike Schultz in the 116 and Scott Bellum in the 07 trying to close the gap on these guys. Can they make it happen here? They are closing it very quickly, so we might go from 4 cars to 6 cars in this lead pack. We go on aboard with the 07 of Scott Bellum as Mike Schultz and Bellum work that outside line. They are making some noise here with 7 laps to go. Coming around to 6 laps to go as they are on the front stretch here. Mike Schultz in the 116 leading his first lap of the race. Schultz out front.
Definitely not a car we've seen up here throughout the night, so excited to see another driver pick up a lap. These guys coming from the back of the field, making things happen, keeping these guys at the front honest, you know? These guys can't just ride around there. That outside line's going to do some work.
Six car breakaway for this lead group, and they are running 4 cars on the outside line. Now make it 3 and 3 as they work through the trial down into turns 1 and 2. Schultz out front for his 3rd lap lead of the race. Rod Flagg in the 23, not giving up on that inside line. He mentioned he wanted to be on the outside, but here he is making that inside line work for him. James Mayer in the 95, tucked in very tightly to his back bumper. They work their way through the corners. Now Schultz is going to have to deal with the 95 of Mayer as Mayer slides up in front of Schultz, and James Mayer saying, hey, I can't get around you on the inside. I'm going to try the outside.
Not a bad choice. You've seen that line all night long, able to get a good run coming out of these corners and drop at least one car into the lead over and over throughout the night.
Down the backstretch, the 6-pack goes. 7 now. Who's doing that? Oh man, my buddy Robert. There he is in the 10 machine. He's joined up with these guys. Don't count out that 10 just yet. These guys are looking at 3 laps to go when they cross the start-finish line. We are in full-on race-in mode, no quarter given. Who's it gonna be to see the white flag and then the checkered flag? Seven cars have broken away from the field. 8th place right now, Derek Conley leading this charge in the 2nd group. The 26 of Hunter Reynolds trying to make something happen on his outside. These guys all formed up, but they are running side by side. They are not going to be able to gain enough ground, and unfortunately the 35 of Doug Rice relegated back here with them. He's going to need a caution if he'd like to get his name thrown into the hat for this race win. With 2 laps to go though, this front 7 drivers getting it done here. Excellent pit strategy, excellent pit stops, and they are out front here leading by over 5 seconds. That is a big gap as we're coming to the white flag here. Rod Flagg looking to make it 2 in a row, but Rick Sebrands, he's going to slide up in front of James Mayer. It is go time. Sebrands making his move here, and now we're going to see these guys really start to hang it out for the race win.
That was a big move there out of Rick, jumping that outside line. You know, we've seen him all night long wanting to run that inside, so exciting to see him move out there for this, our final lap. He's really pushing that machine, getting everything he can out of it this time.
Side by side, they go down the backstretch. Who's it gonna be? Everyone trying to jockey for position. Rick Sebrands with the advantage into turns 3 and 4, but Rod Flagg on the inside. Oh, Cody Eldred's gonna go around. Caution flag may not fly as we're on the white flag lap. Big contact, Duvendak involved as well. To the line they go. Sebrands all by himself, and Rod Flagg is gonna win it. He makes it 2 in a row as Sebrands had no help. Mike Schultz pushing Rod Flagg to the win. Oh my goodness, these guys lost it coming off of turn 4. It was a 3-car battle to the checkered. And I'll tell you what, Rod Flagg goes 2 in a row in this OP Racing Super Speedway Series. Holy cow.
That's definitely a way to make your name known. Come out, win 2 in a row as a rookie. Let everybody know you're here to race, that's for sure.
What a race, what a finish. And Rick Seabrans comes up short as he battled with our third place finisher Mike Schultz and Rod Flagg. But man, what a finish that was. We finished without a green wide checkered, and the 23 comes out on top here tonight. We're gonna step away for a minute, set up our post-race show. No one go anywhere, as we're gonna get these guys in the booth and get some words from them. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to Turn 3 Racing Network as Rod Flagg in the 23 machine, your race winner. However, his celebration cut short as he is out of fuel. He played it perfectly. Rod Flagg, you go 2 for 2 here tonight, winning your second race in a row. Congratulations. You win the pole, both races. You win the race in both races. Man, how are you doing this?
Yeah, we're certainly on a streak right now. 2 in a row, sitting on the pole and winning the race. That a little bit different than maybe last week. Is I think Rick was going to get me coming to the line if it wouldn't been for my teammate Mike Schultz in the 116 coming up and give me that one big push into that tri-oval start finish line. So really grateful to him to get the help. Glad he finished third. So a really good team effort tonight. And I know we're excited to be in victory lane again.
All right, so you timed it perfectly. Your pit stop, your fuel strategy. What went down in team orders to say, hey, we need to hit pit road this time?
We're pretty much just kind of looking to see what everybody else was going to do in the first few cars. So as soon as we started seeing notifications that everybody's going to come down, we joined in, and luckily everybody came on pit road pretty well. So I didn't see anybody wreck. So we had that number one pit stall, and we let everybody off pit road. So had a nice advantage there to kind of see what everybody's going to do coming off pit road, and then really had to battle for the win there. Again, like I said, Rick's car was great all night. We've been battling. I'm pretty sure he probably led the most laps, and we're probably second there because we kept exchanging the lead. But what a race, man! What a fun track. I know people are giving the setup a little bit of crap, but I thought it felt pretty good.
When we talked to you, you were a stage winner. You enjoyed this setup here tonight, but you were out front almost all race long. And here you are, the race winner, getting it done, winning your second race as a rookie out here, but you're driving as if you're not a rookie. Maybe a rookie in the OP Racing Super Speedway Series, but tell us a little bit about your experience here in this car that has put you out front. here at the end of the last 2 races?
Well, we've been a long time super speedway, probably a ringer, as I like to call it. Been doing super speedway as my specialty for 6-7 years now in iRacing, and saw that Alex was running OP Racing and wanted to join the fun, as wasn't doing any racing on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And do you participate in a league on Friday nights that I've been in for about 6 years at the Super Speedway League? So got a lot of experience, and glad I could bring the fun to this league and race with a bunch of great competitors. It's a great bunch of drivers.
Well, the 23 once again in victory lane, 2 in a row, driving as if you have that experience. Nice job. Congratulations. Shout outs, thank yous you'd like to give?
Yeah, I just want to thank the Washington State Cougars for this great Toyota Camry that we had tonight. Very strong. And I want to thank my teammates Sean McCarrick and Mike Schultz, and also want to thank again OP Racing for putting on the show, and Alex Green and all his staff for what they do. They do a tremendous job.
Rod Flagg, your race winner, getting it done here. Very well done. That car was out front almost all race long, and now it's time to move on to our second place finisher, and that is Rick Seabrans. And Danny, you've caught up with him.
I did, Rick. We were watching you throughout the night. You led 35 laps here. What was the track feeling like for you out there tonight?
Yeah, we had an up and down kind of night there. We had that incident early on before that first stage, and then caught a break there with that caution. Car was just it just kind of felt light on older tires, and we struggled with that through that first stage, a little bit into that second, but they kept making great adjustments to this Alliance Motorsports Yeti ZL1 Camaro, and we got her tuned up nice. So she was really fast there towards the end there. Just came up a little bit short there with Rod. Congratulations to him. Man, we had a great battle up front all night, man. I hope all the fans enjoyed watching that.
Oh, I know we did up here in the booth, watching you guys trade that position back and forth as you dove either from the inside to the outside and making those lanes work for you. Coming to that checkered flag, you had to see all that chaos going on behind you. What was going through your head as you're realizing the guys that are there pushing you are disappearing pretty quickly?
Well, I didn't even see the 116 back there. I saw all the smoke and I saw the cars turning. And I thought it was just going to be a battle with me and Rod there coming back to the line. But then all of a sudden I seen an orange blur coming out of the side of my mirror, and then I knew it was over with them. But we gave it a great run out there tonight. We had we finished second in the stage. I think we won one also. So it was a great point tonight. We needed this. We've had a pretty rough start to the season, so we're gonna be proud of this finish and move on to next week.
Yeah, that's right. You brought home the win for stage 2. Like I said, 35 laps, stage win. Overall, a pretty good night. Anyone you need to say thank you to, or helps you get that car out on track?
Yeah, just everybody in the Alliance Motorsports, all my teammates, all those guys. Yeti, Jack Daniels, been with me forever. Everybody that gets us here to the track, this was fun. Can't wait for next week.
Hey, well, congratulations bringing that car home. Looking pretty good there towards the front in second place. JR, looks like you caught up with our third place finisher. How's he doing tonight?
I got Mike Schultz here with me, our third place finisher. Mike Schultz, man, what a race you had. You came from 19th place. We didn't talk a whole lot about you, but here you are at the final stage, started making some noise. You led some laps, and you end up in third place. Tell us a little bit about your race here tonight.
Well, I have to start off after last week. I have to apologize to everybody. I made a mockery out of it by wrecking almost the entire field, so I had to play it a little safe in the beginning. Actually took off well, was running up front, got in an incident first thing. Stayed out, led a lap. Actually put myself a lap down there. Got lucky to get the lucky dog back. And then it was just try to get back to the front, try to work with Rod if I possibly could. Just try to be there at the end.
Well, you were there at the end for sure in that 116. You were able to work with a teammate, it sounds like, and push him to the race win. Rick Seabrans on your guys' outside. Tell us a little bit about that last lap and what was going through your mind.
I was just survival, and everybody started wrecking, and I somehow made it through, and jumped on the radio quick and told Rod to hang on tight because I was going to hit him so he could get that win. So that's all we had to do. It's I'd love to win one. I know Sean's been lucky to get a win in this series, and I haven't yet, but it'll come. But it's good to see a teammate win it. So we learn a lot from Rod. So we really appreciate him being on the team.
All right, Mike, congratulations on your 3rd place finish. Any shout outs, thank yous you need to give?
Just another, apology for last week. Hopefully I kind of redeemed some people's view of me. But Alex, for this whole league, and you guys for doing all the broadcasting, thank you very much for everything.
All right, that is Mike Schultz, driver of the 116 machine, finishing in 3rd place here tonight. And Danny, man, this race, it went really fast, but we still had some cautions. We saw some drivers really struggling with this setup. What were you seeing out there this whole race?
I was just seeing guys fighting with the car, trying to figure out what it was going to do to them. Towards the end of the race there, everybody seemed like they figured it out and were comfortable, and we got some great racing. So, looking at that finish, came down to that last little bump, and right there at the start-finish line, just barely edging each other out. So, what more can you ask for than a great finish like that?
It was a great finish. Came down to the 3 drivers as they were heading for the white flag. We saw a lot of drivers get crossed up as they were headed to that white flag. Unfortunately, it took them out of the finishing order here tonight, and that means it is time to go through our results. Rod Flagg, your race winner. Rick Seabrand's in 2nd. 3rd place going to Mike Schultz. We got to talk to all 3 of our podium drivers. Derek Conley brings it home in 4th. A great finish for that 28 machine. Hunter Reynolds rounds out your top 5. Daniel Harrington in 6th. Doug Rice in 7th. 8th place going to Alex Green. Cody Leavitt finishing 9th. 10th place Mark Mann. Les Levy in the 62 will finish 11th. 12th place going to Sean McCarrick. 13th Tristan Walker. Scott Bellum in the 07 will finish 14th. James Mayer in the 95 15th. Cody Eldred is 16th. 17th going to Robert Duvendak. 18th Chris McCullough. Ken McCullough finishing 19th. 20th going to Forrest Sparks on the lead lap. First car 1 lap down is 21st Eric Carline. David Booth in the fake 77 will finish 22nd. 23rd going to Anthony English. 24th Josh Milam. Aspen Belvin will finish 25th. David Overstreet finishing 26th. David McCullough in the 2 machine 27th. Cody Ober in the 8 machine will finish 28th. Mark Vega 29th. Chase Berry in 30th. And 31st will be Jacob Gaddam Sayers, and Will Weber being our race control here tonight. Thank you very much, Will Weber. Guys, that is going to do it for us here at Turn 3 Racing Network. Thank you very much for joining us. And Danny, final shout outs, thank yous.
I'm just looking forward to next week. Thanks for being here with me, and let's get to it for next week.
All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for us here tonight on the 3rd annual Bumpy Road Daytona 250. Guys, until next week, thank you very much. And as always, we're going to leave you with a video provided by a league member, Derek Conley, in the 28 machine. Guys, have a good night, and we will see you next week.
Warning, the following stunts are performed by idiots or under the supervision of stupider idiots. If you attempt to reenact any of these idiotic stunts you will see, you will be left with idiotic scars. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Alex Green. Welcome to OP Racing.